1994, great music. What was the great music? I'll show you the great music. At least these are my favorites from 1994. Now, before we get going, I do not own a copy of Soundgarden's Super Unknown. I've tried to get one. That thing's difficult to find. I mean, and it's just spendy as all get out if you try to get it online. So you're not going to see that. I don't have Holes. Lived Through This. That's a little easier to find. I just don't have it yet. I don't have the Cranberries. What was it? No need to agree. I have the greatest hits. So, that's what I need. Yeah, and Downward Spiral by Nine Inch Nails. I don't have that. So if you don't see them on the list, there's a good reason. I don't have them to show them. So yeah, that's going to happen. But let's look at what we got. Okay, a few albums that I really liked from 1994 that did not make the list. We'll just show them really quick. Veruca Salt, American Thighs. Man, this thing, that was so hot when that came out. It was great. It still sounds pretty good, but did make it. Diamanda Gallis with John Paul Jones. This is The Sporting Life. I love this album, but did make the list. We had The Offspring. Great kind of punk, but didn't quite make it. Beck Mellow Gold. I mean, this really kind of turned rap on its ear, but didn't quite make it. I got this from Dom, Seeking a Thread. Thinking Fellas, Union Local 282. This is different. It is really fun though. And there was Stereolab, this is a great album. I'm only picking 12. Mars, Mars Audio DAC Quintet. It's just fantastic. And the last one that did not quite make it was the Cramps Flame Job. So you're saying, well, what did make it then? Because those albums were so freaking good. How could they not have been on the list? So number 12 from 1994, Portishead Dummy. We'll just take that out, though it's still in shrink, so it's shiny anyway. This, of course, has the hit Sour Times, which is just wonderful. Beth Gibbons, she has that sultry, melancholy type vocals. There's just excellent guitars that really create just wonderful, chilling atmospheres on here. Very dark backbeats happening and just kind of a spy soundtrack feel to this whole album. This is just the perfect music for any angst-ridden indie fan, honestly. It kind of blew me away when this thing came out. It was so cool, dark, mysterious. Number 12. Number 11. Kyuss. Welcome to Sky Valley. This is filled with furious metal to even psychedelic grooves. It's all happening on this album. It has kind of a space rock type jam feel to it, especially on songs like Asteroids. I mean, the album is only 3 suites. It's into 3 suites, and then it's divided into different songs within the suites. But this is like hard edge stoner rock. And of course, Josh Hum is on here. I remember I had an employee. He was a college student, and he was into a lot of this new stuff that was happening in the 90s. And he said, you got to listen to this. And he gave me a tape of Kyuss. And then I went and bought the CD and go, wow, I really, really like this. And so, luckily through reissuing, you can still get some of this stuff up. Fantastic album. Number 11. Well, brings us to number 10 as our counting goes. Lush Split. This album, it spends its whole time, the whole album is about exploring the depths of all the nasty things that surround relationships. So talk about something good. Hey, John, is that sad bastard music or what? It's just, that's what it looks at. It digs into this stuff. It's a little cinematic. There's shoegaze and you have dream pop that's happening. Mickey Berini? Her vocals, they stand out more. A lot of times, especially if shoegaze or even the dream pop, the vocals can be pushed down. on this album and Split, they stand out. They're up toward the front, and they sound great. She really has a great voice. I mean, this album just touches on all the various forms of emotional turbulence when it comes to relationships. So, yeah, like I'm not a huge lyric guy, so I don't notice. I just know that the tunes are freaking good and very enjoyable albums. So that's Lush, Split, number 10. Number 9, Vitalogy from Pearl Jam. And this is a nice gatefold. I'd like to say these are originals, but they are not originals. Boy, talk about going for a lot of money, huh? And I just don't have that much. This is a little more stripped down than their other albums were. It's kind of a leaner album, I thought. It deals with death. It deals with despair. Those topics just shroud this album. So, here we go. 94. We're just kind of, it's a bummer, man. Really. But this album is filled with a lot of straight ahead rockers and very introspective ballads. You're going to hear both of that on here. And it's just a powerful album by Pearl Jam. Last Exit, and what was the other one here? Not For You. Both of those are just extreme hard rockers, showing the power of what Pearl Jam can do. For me, I think this is toward the... I had all the Pearl Jam in CD, but, these first ones were the ones that really caught my attention, and Vitalogy, really, really good. At number 9. Putting us to number 8. In the UK, there's a lot of argument going on and fighting. Just ask me when I put my greatest bands of all times. Some will say Oasis is the greatest band of all time. Some will say Oasis is just a bunch of morons and just crap music. Like me, you love them or hate them, I guess. Well, for me, they made number 8 on Definitely Maybe, which is their debut. I find there's just this swirling rush of rock and roll music happening. They brought back into the guitars, hot and heavy. You have the heartbreaking of Live Forever. There's the hip shaking shaker maker. The hip shaking shaker maker. Wow, okay, I like that. There's just a lot of great songs. There's 11 songs on here, and this album's loud, but it's wonderful. And it really is some great rock and roll songs, and wonderful. What a wonderful debut from Oasis. Definitely Maybe at number 8, which would mean to try to keep the UK excited and not agreeing with any of this is, let's put Blur at number 7. So, yeah, okay. I mean, we got these two guys going head on head. I just knocked my work computer. Luckily, it didn't go down. Okay, so we got Blur, Parklife. Man, this thing came out. I bought that CD. It's like, wow. I was in love with this album. And to this day, I still just think it's just a great album. It was catchy. It was sing-along type songs. I mean, there's 16 songs on this. And it goes anywhere from psychedelic to synth pop to disco to punk to music hall. Not a big fan of music hall whatsoever. But all the while, these guys are kind of a serial comic when it comes to social commentary. Serious but comical. So, yeah, it's what a fun album. You have the disco-fied boys and girls. You have the sing-along chants of Parklife. Wow, I really played this, just the heck out of this CD. And to this day, it's the one Blur album that I will pull and play constantly. So number 7, the Blur Parklife. Number 6, look at this, move along here. Green Day Dookie. Man, did this make some waves when it came out, for good and for bad. The word sellout was used a lot for Green Day. But what's wrong with a band wanting to make some money? And these guys were having a lot of fun. Suddenly, it was like Nirvana. They suddenly popped into the mainstream. There they are, kind of obscure underneath, putting out these independent albums to get a major record deal, and out comes this Dookie. And God, talk about a fun kind of thing. Really, it brought pop punk in out. I mean, suddenly lots of groups were now joining into the pop punk frame. There's just so much iconic self-loathing in the lyrics within this album. I mean, they absolutely aren't taking things seriously. They're just having fun. Everything's a joke, and they're just having fun with it, which makes this wonderful. The songs just have this flippant, infectious attitude. It's wonderful. I talk about getting on MTV. Holy cow, Longview, Welcome to Paradise, A Basket Case. It's just good song after good song after good song. Green Day, Dookie, how could they not be there in the top? And that was number 6. Number 5, though. Let's get back. We're getting a little dark again. Johnny Cash, American Recordings. Johnny Cash was in the inevitable position where he was a living legend that was loved by many, but nobody had any interest in his recent works. So nothing was happening for this guy. He was respected. He was revered. Oh my God, love Johnny Cash. Name one of his 80 album. Dropped from record labels or whatever. Rick Rubin saw that there was an opportunity to do something to help Johnny Cash, and wow, did he do it. He brought the recording equipment to Johnny Cash's album. Johnny had his acoustic guitar. They set up the microphones, and away he sang. And he just made a phenomenal album. This thing is so wonderful. I mean, tonight, Johnny Cash, he did Glenn Danzig cover. He did a Tom Waits cover. Come on, man. I mean, who does that? What country singer does that? Especially at Johnny Cash's age. But he took those songs and he made them his own, which was so exciting. And he also had originals. There was a Drive On. There was The Redemption. There was Like a Soldier. This album is powerful. It's intimate. It's compelling. It's beautiful. I have a wonderful box set of the Johnny Cash American Recordings, because for me, this is my Johnny Cash that I love. Great album, number 5. That brings us number 4. We are counting so good. And I hope you're counting with me right now. Okay, we have Sugar. File under easy listening. This is what it looked like. This is from the box set, so I am not going to go out to buy another one so I can get this cover. All I can tell you is, of course, I am a Bob Mould, huge fan of Husker Du and of Bob Mould stuff. And when this came out, it was like, wow, this is just great. Sugar was a phenomenal group, so hard rocking. It was fantastic. This came in really cool vinyl too, which was really neat. Because here's the thing with Sugar. Beneath all those extremely loud guitars was some very relaxed pop songs. Your favorite things, and I Can't Help You Anymore. When you think about those two songs, they are just filled with this memorable melodies and hooks. They're all over the place. And Bob Mould was great at that. That guy could make hooks. You have the country rock of, what was it? Believe What You're Saying. Just a nice country rock. You have the scorching ballad of Panama City Motel. Wonderful songs. The powerhouse melodic scorching of G Angel. This is so good. Just great stuff on here. And you know what? And of course you had just an absolute rocket-fueled rocker. What was it on there? Granny Cool. Man, that thing will blow your hair back. So good. Bob Mould, File Under Easy Listening. That's what it looks like if you're looking for it. Okay, 3, and the big 3. And these 3 are incredible to me. First off, we have Luna, Bewitched. And this is Dean Wareham out of Galaxy 500. He formed Luna. You know, I believe the drummer, the drummer, Stanley Dominski, came out of the Violent Femmes. The bass player, Justin Harwood, came from, what was it? I think the Clean, was it? Oh, it was one of those New Zealand groups. Just doesn't matter. This album's beautiful. Sterling Morris even plays on this. He plays on the song Friendly Advice and Great Jones Street. Sounds wonderful. You know, Dean Wareham, his voice is kind of like Lou Reed, Tom Verlaine. Those are the two vocals that really inspired him, and you can hear that on there, very much so. You have the beautiful ear candy of the song Tiger Lily. And talk about a sing-along chorus. That thing is just, you just want to get up and start singing along with them. The uplifting feel of the opener, California All the Way. Though it's a song about kind of a troubled relationship, it just sounds good. It just makes you feel good, even though the relationship's totally troubled. Bewitched, Friendly Advice. Again, Sterling Morris is playing on there. Incredible guitar solos happening on Friendly Advice. This is just such a beautiful album. And look at that chair. Who doesn't want one of these? Now, these are a bitch to get out. You know, have you ever sat in one of those and then try to get out? They need like handles right in here. They're awful, but they're so dang cool. And I always wanted one. Yeah, I guess I could still get one, but I would probably never get out of it just because I could. But number 3, Bewitched with the cool, with the cool chair. That's not the original album cover artwork. Okay, number 2. Beastie Boys, Ill Communication. This is probably my favorite Beastie Boys album. This is all about their love of the 70s. And just watch the video for Sabotage. I mean, it's talking about like a 70s cop. It's great. What makes this album so much fun is they bring in funk and they bring in the jazz. And they just meld it into what they do, and it sounds just phenomenal. You know, there's just this dense, real surrealistic sound that's happening, you know, especially on songs like Root Down and Sabotage. And, you know, then they even dubbed up some of it, and they added in flute on the interludes. And of course, they have these fuzzed out rock and organ jams happening. This is a fun album. It's double. We'll open up the gatefold here. And I'll put all that back away again. And there's the gatefold for this thing. Isn't that wonderful? Such an amazing album. You know, there is just so much interesting music happening on this thing. It's just a cornucopia of fun music. And yeah, for me, it's my favorite Beasties album because it just rocks, but it's also funky. Yeah, remember those. Okay, so to number 1, Weezer's Blue Album. I did not buy this when it came out, and this is one that has grown on me through the years. When I visited North Carolina a few years ago, Dave, local bandography, he brought me to a concert and we saw Weezer, and I was very impressed. But this is like Pixies meet metal with a dash of pop in there. I mean, what a wonderful debut, the Blue Album. I mean, this is just, you know, the music, it's both raucous but also melodic. It has all that going on. There's just the catchy, bone-crushing alt pop of Buddy Holly. And, of course, there's Undone, the Sweater Song. I mean, who doesn't sing along to the Sweater Song? And Say It Ain't So. I mean, 3 incredible hits that came off this thing. I mean, the band, I mean, they really loved the band is really a band for the outsiders. It's the outsiders who felt that they weren't part of the cool crowd. They adopted Weezer. They said, these are our guys. This is our type of music. And they, yeah, they're totally embraced by it. And Weezer's still going and still making very good music. But this album here, wow. What a start to a great career. So, my favorite album of 1994. So there we have it. I said some of these great albums I don't have, especially if I had Soundgarden, Superunknown. That would have been included in the list, but I don't, so it's not there. What are you going to do? But go ahead, let me know what your favorites are. You can go ahead and keep up the Oasis Blur argument. That's fine. Always good to hear who's the moron and who's the cool one. But great music again, 1994. Harder to get these albums, kind of expensive, but you know, I love the 90s and I loved a lot of the music that came out. So we're going to move on to 1995. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.